This month, we invite you to join us for Broadcaster's Eye. We're presenting 3 award-winning programs from commercial broadcasters throughout Japan. These programs carefully portray ordinary life and the landscape of Japan while shining a light on local issues and their ways of living. Today's program is the last in the series. In the Heart of Nature, The Forest Kindergarten, by Chuo Television Broadcasting in Shimane Prefecture. This documentary captures a 2.5-year record of life at a private nursery school where the natural environment substitutes for school buildings. Watch as the children explore their unique classroom and grow up in the heart of nature.
過保護にはなってるのかなっていう環境が結構あるかもしれないです。
思わないです。この子に何かあった時にその後悔するのは誰かな。
過保護だなとは思います。自立というかさせるために子どもたちだけで子どもの社会を作らせるのは大事なことなのに、そこにちょっと親が干渉しすぎるな。
The birth rate in Japan remains a low 1.37. The declining birth rate and aging population are throwing a dark shadow over Japanese society. Parents are asking for more help from the government. Do they need financial support or more childcare facilities? In a mountain valley in western Japan lies a unique kindergarten. Are these kids on a school trip? Actually, this is the kindergarten, albeit one with no roof, windows, walls, or any kind of building at all. Games and toys here are not man-made. They are all gifts from nature. The children playing so happily here are pupils at Marutanbo, which means log in Japanese. The children at this forest kindergarten spend 5 days a week up in the mountains. Of course, it's not all smooth sailing. Sharing laughter and tears within a rich natural environment. This experience produces different results from those of a normal kindergarten. So, in what ways do the children change? The forest kindergarten represents what's missing today in the way Japanese children are raised anywhere else in the country. The town of Chizu is in Tottori Prefecture, western Japan. Marutanbo's children play amongst the town's forests, rivers, and open spaces. Everyone makes some very simple promises.
マルタンボの大事なお約束を教えてくれる人、お願いします。ここに来てもらってください。みんなの顔見て。大人の人の見えるところで遊びます。はい。じゃあ声が喉がおかしくなるようなんだけど大丈夫？はい。食べてもいいか聞く。はい、そうです。今はね、木の実とキノコがよく生えてます。食べれないものもたくさんありますので、聞いてから食べてくださいね。川の水買って飲んでいけんで。
The children can play as they like, provided they follow these rules. Well-qualified, full-time kindergarten teachers follow the children everywhere. Chizu's abundant natural areas provide the perfect classroom. Children gain valuable life lessons they can only get in the countryside.
The most important thing for us is a child's enthusiasm. So, well, we try to keep an eye on a child's feelings and desires at each moment to see how they're doing. And by watching them closely, we see how they're feeling, what they want to do, or what kind of child they are. And, well, this is our method of watching over childcare or supervised activity.
Marutanbo-style childcare can be seen in many different places.
どうしたゆうちゃんどうしたゆうちゃんなんか言ったわかんない何が登り方
Each child has unique characteristics and needs. The adults try not to interfere too much. Instead, they let the children figure things out by themselves. By building a feeling of accomplishment in an open environment, Marutanbo tries to foster creativity and independence. When this child-centered approach works, it's a wonderful thing. But anything could happen at any time. See how the kindergarten teacher responds. He helps the child out of the pond, but doesn't pay the child any more attention than necessary. The adults have to control their desire to comfort the children. It's not only the children who learn at Marutanbo. Adults also learn not to get upset or shook up by little things. Few city dwellers could imagine eating lunch in a place like this. But this is just an average lunch at Marutanbo. School representative Saeko Nishimura was the central figure behind the establishment of Marutanbo in 2009.
Chizu was a great place, and I began to think how wonderful it would be to raise my children here. I spoke about it with my husband, and we decided to move here.
Nishimura has 3 children. She bought an old Japanese house and moved to Chizu to raise her kids in a natural environment. But then, something unexpected happened. She had wanted to send her children to the local kindergarten, but it closed its doors after merging with another nursery school. This prompted Nishimura to decide to open her dream kindergarten, Marutanbo.
People involved in childcare focus too much on safety and security. I feel they're overly sensitive about it. There's a certain sense that you have to keep a close watch on what every child is doing at every moment. I think that's too much. There are fewer children around nowadays, so we tend to overly cosset them.
Nishimura felt something was wrong with the modern obsession with safety and the tendency to interfere too much in children's lives. Other mothers who shared her ideas joined to form Marutanbo. The kindergarten operates 5 days a week. The group heads off to a different location every day. There are 9 different activity areas: mountains, forests, rivers, open spaces. Each location is transformed into a place for learning. The children get to experience the wider world. This leads to lots of questions. Unlike what you'd find at a regular kindergarten or nursery school, there is no play equipment here. Instead, the children explore the exciting wonderland of their surroundings. There's heat, cold, narrow bridges, and uneven paths. The children's minds and bodies are nurtured in settings that modern youngsters rarely get to see. Of course, rain can sometimes be a problem when the classroom is the great outdoors. But for children, getting wet is no big deal. The kindergarten had only 1 teacher when it started. Another joined in 2010, and the plan is to increase the number of teachers to 4 soon. Marutanbo may have been set up by local mothers, but it keeps going thanks to a grant from the town.
I suppose there are lots of ways to raise children these days. But I often thought it would be best for children to run around outdoors and play in streams in the summertime, just like we used to do in the old days. I was just thinking about these things when I heard about this project, and I thought it was a great idea and decided to support it.
Marutanbo's approach to childcare seemed tailor-made for a place like Chizu, so the town decided to grant the school $80,000 in each of the first 3 years. The kindergarten also receives a $7,000 a year grant from the national government. The grants cover the salaries of 2 teachers and the costs of running a school van. The subsidies allow the kindergarten to charge parents just $300 a month, including a pickup service. Meals usually consist of packed lunches, but once a week, everyone cooks together. Children bring their own food to make their lunches. The kindergarten can't afford luxurious ingredients, but the eager children grab knives and get to work chopping vegetables. It's quite an amazing scene, isn't it? These small children are pretty handy with knives. The little cooks at Marutanbo are real pros when it comes to making lunch. Modern children rarely get to experience the everyday dangers of kitchen knives and fire. This scene vividly demonstrates the Marutanbo philosophy of teaching children valuable life lessons amid the forests and mountains. When it rains, the children just put on their raincoats. Shunsuke Kumatani is a pupil at Marutanbo. He's been coming here since the school opened in 2009. Shunsuke is the third son of kindergarten head Kyoko Kumatani. He's one of the gentler souls among Marutanbo's boisterous children, but his mother never coddles him. When he was 16 months old, Shunsuke nearly drowned in a drainage channel near his house. At one point, his heart actually stopped beating. The outlook wasn't good, but his parents' dedicated care pulled him back from the brink of death.
At first, I feared the worst, that we would lose him. But then, the doctors told me his heart had started beating again, faintly. After that, he made a fast recovery. Within a week, he was out of the ICU, and a month later, he left the hospital.
The doctors said Shunsuke needed to exercise more, so his parents decided to send him to the newly opened Marutanbo.
He was a little behind other children his age, both in speaking ability and physical strength. So we thought engaging in activities that involved using his whole body might be the best way to strengthen him physically and mentally. Because of that, we decided to put him in Marutanbo.
A few years at Marutanbo have turned Shunsuke into a vigorous young boy. Using skills learned at Marutanbo, he sometimes helps his mother cook dinner.
このぐらいで細く切ってください。たまにこうやって手伝いしてくれますからね。これ。せーの。いただきます。いただきます。ちょっとリズムが合わんかったけど。
お父さんなんかは森の表現とかっていうのはどういうふうに見られてます毎日？
山に行って何すんのっていうのを、それを毎日。
初めは心配だったけどな2年前かな始まった頃どうなるかなと思って。
そう毎日ブログ見るのが楽しみです。
Despite his family's concerns, Shunsuke is getting stronger every day at Marutanbo. The kindergarten meets in a mountain valley where winters are snowy. But the children don't mind at all.
あそこによく氷が張ってるってほら知らない。
あそこに氷が。
Places with icicles. Places where you can slide on the snow. Even in the heart of a mountain winter, the children find all the best places to play. City dwellers might be surprised at some of the places these children find, but the whole valley is truly their playground. This amazing scenery is the kind you can see only in the midst of nature on very cold days. This vast learning environment cultivates not just strong bodies, but also healthy minds. The children of Marutanbo get to learn from nature. Perhaps forest kindergartens possess some important feature that modern childcare facilities have lost. But there have been some rough patches. Marutanbo faces a problem common to many who break new ground. It can't get government recognition. Marutanbo is classified not as a kindergarten, but as a non-registered childcare facility.
園舎っていうものを持たない。
園舎を持たない。
常にもう外での活動、森を歩く、街を歩くというような活動になっていて。
雨の日とかどうする？
雨の日も出るんです。
ずっと
来て。
ずっとですか？
はい。
そうは言ってもある程度の安全であるとか。保育の質を確保するための何らかの基準というのはどうしても必要だと思うんですね。
Without a school building, recognition is impossible under the current national standards. Marutanbo claims it doesn't need recognition if it means abandoning its way of doing things. We showed some people in Tokyo what happens at Marutanbo.
あれは何？園舎がないんです。園舎がないんですか？結構すごいこれやりたいよね。自由に遊んでもらうというのは面白いんじゃないですかね。僕は子供だったらやりたいですけど。楽しい。泥？田んぼですね。うわー、たまらないそう。いいね。理想だよね、きっとね。なかなか都会じゃきっとできないよね。泥に飛び込むってすごい免疫もつくし、子供もねやりたいことだしやりたい。その認可があるなしっていうのは決め手としてどうですか？できればあった方がそれはいいかな。
でもいいですね。今あんまり外に出ること少ないから。
認可無認可ってやっぱり気にされます？
気にしますね、そこは。できれば認可の方に行きたい。なんかちょっと安心感。はいはい。
Though parents say they like Marutanbo's approach, they would feel better about it if it were licensed. A license is proof that a kindergarten has met national government standards. Government recognition also brings substantial financial support. The state pays half the remaining administration costs after tuition payments have been subtracted. The prefectural and local governments each pay an additional quarter, so the amount the parents have to pay decreases. The town pledged to support Marutanbo for 3 years, but this period is coming to an end.
Unfortunately, the financial support from the town will finish next fiscal year. We may be able to soldier on thereafter, but it will be very difficult to keep the kindergarten running without government support. If we think about what's ahead, it's quite scary. It doesn't look good.
The grants from the town go toward paying the salaries of the 2 teachers charged with looking after the children. When the grants come to an end, their salaries will have to be cut and tuition will have to increase. Marutanbo can't get state support since it doesn't meet the government's standards. But how about similar schools overseas? We asked Professor Iwao Uehara, who studies forest science at the Tokyo University of Agriculture.
Forest kindergartens began in the 1960s in Denmark. There was a woman who loved children and looked after the neighborhood youngsters. She took them on trips and nature walks around the area to have some fun. This led the parents to set up the first forest kindergarten for their children. Children are exposed at random to things that are beneficial to their development. Rather than using man-made equipment like jungle gyms and seesaws, they can climb trees, play with pine cones. They discover nature's gifts. They may experience some difficulties, like things they can't carry without the help of others, and the forest can be scary. These experiences, which are unique to the forest kindergarten, benefit a child's development.
Some countries support their forest kindergartens. They recognize that exposure to nature can be beneficial to a child's development. The children learn strong social skills. But sometimes this happens too. A fight has broken out. This is a common scene, but if you watch closely, the children sort it out themselves and soon make friends again. Though still very young, the children have formed their own small society. At Marutanbo, the children learn about personal space and how to express themselves. They learn how to relate to others and reach agreements. In an era when many adults lack these skills, these childhood experiences may prove invaluable. Marutanbo's many advantages are there for all to see, but it doesn't meet the government's rigid standards. Will the government ever move closer to adopting this kind of expansive approach to childcare? The town of Chizu lies in a mountainous area, and 93% of its land is forest. But with the forestry sector in a slump, people rarely venture into the woods anymore. The children of Marutanbo, though, often head into the forest. This promotes forest conservation and helps the children develop physically and mentally. As Marutanbo's reputation grows, some people have even moved to Chizu to send their children there. More children are commuting from the capital city of Tottori to Chizu. They arrive in a school van driven by a teacher who lives there. 2 school vans now pick up children on 2 routes. We asked the children's parents what they hope to gain from sending their children such a long way to school.
I feel he's still quite shy. If he goes to Marutanbo for a year, I hope he can learn to express himself and grow more independent and creative. I want him to grow up spontaneously in a natural environment.
Independence, creativity, spontaneity. The parents have high expectations, but a close look at Marutanbo's daily activities reveals how difficult it is to realize these goals. Today, as the weather worsens, the children explore a rice paddy.
どうした？
メダカ。
うわー、すごいな。うん。これなーに？
魚。
魚？
They're having a great time. But then, as the rain gradually gets worse, the crying starts. They're probably tired too. When one child starts crying, it sets off the others. The teachers don't step in to help though. That's not the Marutanbo way.
They cry a lot, this year's bunch. Fewer children cry out for their mothers these days. But if things don't go their way, for example, if they can't clean up the way they want, then they start crying.
Crying at home might get them what they want, but not here. They realize they'll just have to keep walking on their own 2 feet. This child tries helping. One child cries because the bag has opened, while the other silently picks up the fallen items. Following rules, persevering, helping each other. The children are developing important social skills. At times like these, it must be hard for adults to keep their distance. One teacher explained the difficulty.
I have my own internal yardstick. When I want to say something, I stop and think. Should I watch silently to see if the child will notice something, or should I speak up? Other teachers worry about these things too, so we often talk about them. But there's no clear-cut answer.
What is the answer? It seems they have another problem. He's gotten his right foot stuck and can't get it out. Maybe it's the stress of a new experience or the lack of help from others. But this boy starts hitting and kicking the snow, making it even more difficult to escape from. What's the best thing to do here? Everybody is thinking hard. Eventually, the boy calms down and uses his hands to gradually dig his leg free. It seems he panicked when he rushed to free himself. Did he learn his lesson? The children need to learn. The natural world is not just a giant toy chest. It sometimes contains hazards. During winter, the children look forward to playing in the snow. They can play very energetically, but they have to learn to be careful. There's still a child at the bottom, but when the children play outside, they sometimes get hurt. Everyone must keep this in mind. Perhaps experiences like these are the only way to learn about what's safe and what isn't. What do the children's parents think about nature's hidden dangers?
A little nosebleed is okay, I suppose. I think children can get hurt anywhere. My child used to go to nursery school, but children fight, bite, and hit each other all the time. They can get hurt even inside the building, getting their fingers caught in doors, for example.
I accept the risks here. Children pick up injuries at every kindergarten. I'm prepared for it.
Marutanbo's insurance policy costs the school around $200 per child annually. It would pay out around $50,000 if a child were to die or become permanently disabled. If the school were licensed, annual premiums would drop to just $5 per child, while compensation could rise to as much as $350,000, 7 times more. Marutanbo asks families to take out extra insurance if they don't think the kindergarten's insurance is sufficient. Another forest kindergarten in Nagano City in central Japan has a 28-year history and is officially licensed.
We were unregistered when we started the kindergarten in 1983. We didn't become a legal entity until 2005. We were unlicensed for a long time. Above all, adequate facilities are required to gain a license.
This was never a true forest kindergarten. It had its own building right from the start. To satisfy government licensing criteria, it then had to add classrooms, toilets, and a kitchen. The school's original philosophy had to be adjusted because of problems with administration costs.
Without a license, you have to operate as a financially independent entity. So running costs depend solely on user fees. This is quite difficult. You can't charge a lot for kindergarten, so financial problems become the most pressing matter for unlicensed schools.
So what criteria would Marutanbo need to meet in order to gain recognition? The government requires classrooms or play areas equivalent to 1.98 square meters per child. That means Marutanbo, which imagines serving 30 children, would need a classroom of just over 59 square meters. The kindergarten also needs a kitchen, toilets, and a garden of at least 99 square meters. School head Kumatani says that meeting these conditions would mean the end of their dream kindergarten.
We're not going to change our style. We should be able to stick to our philosophy and get a license. That's what I want to say.
Well, the kindergarten has no facilities at all. The idea is a big departure from our traditional way of thinking. So we need to examine this proposal from scratch.
There is a conflict of opinion between the government and Marutanbo that shows no signs of resolution. Marutanbo is determined to stick to its beliefs and stumble forward on its path for the sake of the children. It's spring, and graduation day has arrived. The only graduate this year is Shunsuke, who has been at the school since it first opened. His present is given in the style of a treasure hunt.
一人で行ったら大変だが、ということで、今日はですね、年中さんのエミちゃんとタノちゃんにしゅんちゃんね、3人で探しに行ってもらおうと思うんですよ。行ってきてください。お願いします。どうぞ、はい、行ってらっしゃい。
As with all activities at Marutanbo, the child's final task is carried out with the help of friends. The treasure's location is written on a hand-drawn map. He spots something. The last challenge is in typical Marutanbo style.
おー、すごい大きいよ。しゅんちゃんおめでとう。
しゅんは1歳4ヶ月の時に、大きな事故に遭いました。奇跡的に回復してですね、命があって本当に良かった。
マルタンボに通わせてみると、みるみる体はたくましくなって、仲間を思いやる心だとか、何かに集中してなんか没頭する力、心配していた事故の後遺症もどんどん回復していきました。シュンはここでの多くの経験や思い出を糧として成長してくれると信じています。
A new school year begins at Marutanbo. 10 more children will join, raising the number to 23. As Japan's population dwindles, children are becoming a rare sight in many communities. What if there were more kindergartens like Marutanbo? This is Nishimura's dream.
Forest kindergartens should be a child care option. Every community should have one. Parents should be able to choose between them and normal kindergartens with buildings and facilities. For this to happen, we need a system of regular government support for forest kindergartens. That's what I think.
Life skills and fortitude, learned in a natural setting. A new system is needed to teach children how to interact with nature, overcome problems, and learn independence. The Marutanbo community will continue to speak out. Maybe one day, the government will listen.
体が書いていけるかな。